Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and a very warm welcome to World This Morning. I am your host Ajra Satti and joining me is my wonderful co-host Fahim Bangesh. Assalamu alaikum Fahim. How are you doing today?
Salam. I'm very well and a very good morning.
Thank you so much Fahim. Fahim, since it's August, it's monsoon season and also August is known for the holidays, right? So have you ever had the opportunity of going to the Karakoram highways or flying high in the northern areas of Pakistan, because it's so beautiful to be there, the enchanting beauty, mesmerizing mountains, and especially as long as you hit the mountains, you will find that, oh my God, these are such a huge structures that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala constructed. You are reminded of the infiniteness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and also nothingness of the man, that we are nothing on this place.
Nothingness of man, that's very, very true, Hajra. And yes, I have been there, but it's been a couple of years now. And now that you've mentioned all these things, and it's making me want to go there once again.
Yes.
And like you also went there very recently.
Yes,
I saw the pictures and really wanted to go there once again, especially, you know, when you go by road, you get to see each and everything. You get to see the weather changing, the climate changing, the people changing, the language changing. It's amazing, really.
That's very true, and obviously whenever I go for the tourism, I always want to explore the cities, the landscapes on the foot, because when you are traveling by the foot or when you are walking, you are interacting with so many architectural wonders. You're interacting with the past histories, the present, how they want to define their future, the people out there, the languages which they are speaking. And the reason why I spoke of the Karakoram highway is because I think it's the undeclared eighth wonder of the world. The way it has been constructed by the Pakistani side and on the other hand by the Chinese side, it's nothing short of a wonder. In such a high altitude where you find so much oxygen pressure and you do not find enough oxygen to breathe there, but yet Pakistani people did that, yet people constructed that, and yet we cemented our bonds of friendship between Pakistan and China in the first place.
This area is quite talented, I tell you.
That's true.
Be it the architects, be it the artist community, everyone is really, really talented. And I'm pretty excited about today's program, Hajra.
That's very true, and there's a reason why we are talking about Karakoram Highway, about the cemented friendships and all of these syllogisms which define China-Pakistan friendship, deeper than oceans, higher than Himalayas, sweeter than honey, obviously, and how does that entire interplay translates into pop culture, into film industry. We have very interesting segment coming up, but before that we are going to our top stories. So Fahim, why don't you do the honors?
Sure. Well, today's top stories, we have two of them for you. And well, Prime Minister Mia Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif, he has basically laid the foundation stone of the Pakistan Kidney and Liver Institute University in Lahore. Also addressing the foundation laying ceremony, the Prime Minister said the PKLI project was launched in 2015 and 15 billion rupee trust fund has been established for the treatment of the patients. Also, he said the journey of PKLI started back in 2015 and this program was abandoned by the previous government, unfortunately. Also, Shehbaz Sharif said establishment of university is a big project and it aimed for the measures, and it's to provide the best services to the patients. Also, he said the PKLI is providing treatment to the patients without any discrimination, and 80% of the patients are getting free of cost treatment. Also, the Prime Minister added that PKLI is a hope for patients who are rich, who are poor, and are treated here without any discrimination. And he said the PKLI was built on modern lines as per the global standards, and the doctors and staff of this institute are doing an excellent service. Also, lastly, the Prime Minister, he participated in an awareness conference on eradication of hepatitis C from Pakistan, which was organized by the Pakistan Kidney and Liver Institute.
And I think these sort of institutions, they are the need of the hour, and we need to work more towards it and make sure that we universalize the access towards the healthcare, and especially in a country like Pakistan where we badly need it.
And where we do see the kidney and liver diseases on the rise now.
True.
Yeah.
Right. So, printing industry all across the country has been witnessing a boom in the sale of Azadi items for the upcoming 76th Independence Day on 14th of August this year, where printers were working till late at night to meet the orders and introduce unique designs to attract the citizens. According to a report, Pakistan is gearing up to celebrate Independence Day on 14th of August. All leading textile factories have been receiving huge orders to make and supply tricolor flags, posters, banners, decorative accessories. They have rolled out hundreds of thousands of national flags, posters, banners and decorative accessories since the start of this month, while vendors make quick profits on the streets, said a shopkeeper. And the youngsters are keen on purchasing different items to decorate. And Fahim, since you're coming to the office, you will find that these sort of flags and bunties, they're lined all across the road there, right?
Yes,
and
in all the sectors, you're very right. And well, moving on from that to our segments today, which I said I was pretty excited about.
Yes.
And that is because we are now looking at a joint venture between Pakistan and China as they're collaborating in the art industry, in the film industry. And we are now watching a new film which has come up in the industry called Bati Girl.
Bati Girl, obviously, thank you so much, Fahim, for introducing it. And no one can underestimate the power of film, the power of storytelling, the power of narratives in the digital era, especially in the 21st century, and how it influences the behavior and attitude of the people. And more than that, how it's a representation of the cross-pollination of the ideas in the first place, and how it influences countries and their relations and people-to-people contact in the first place. And Bati has a very particular meaning to it, because Chinese people call Pakistani people as Bati in the first place. What does that name connotes? I'm pardon. And we will obviously talk about it. But before that, we are going to watch a trailer. So let's go and take a look.
Bati Girl, the first joint production between Iron Friends, Pakistan and China.
Is Lu Shenchuan to you?
Bati Girl is a film about friendship.
Hey, they're just kids. Let them play.
It is a film about the plight of girl child.
मैं फुटबॉल खेलना चाहती हूँ।
तुम्हें लड़ने का अगर इतना शौक है, तो आओ अभी एक फुटबॉल का मैच खेलें।
It is a film about the game of football.
Stop! Let her go. Or I'll shoot.
मैच के बाद जलालाबाद से हमारा संबंध टूट होगा।
ताहम इस वक्त को फैसला करना होगा।
वो क्यों नहीं सकता? जलाला गांव की भी तो फुटबॉल टीम है।
It is about social change.
डरना मत, हिचकिचाहट मत करना।
अल्लाह हमारे साथ है।
Wow, that was a very wonderful trailer, and it has a very encapsulating story, and storyline was very unconventional, as we were talking before
Yes,
we
exactly.
went on air. And obviously, to talk more about this production, we have a really big name that has graced us today in our studio. He is the acting powerhouse. He is an institution in itself, in himself, and he has taught so many actors, and he has contributed so much immensely to our arts and production in our film industry and our drama industry. He is not just an actor, he is also a director, he is a painter, he is a singer, he is also a sculptor, and he happens to be also the chairman of Hunar Kada. He also headed the PNCA, he was a former DG PNCA, and also he got a film career started through the BBC film called Traffic. It was a marvelous film, and we have grown him watching and acting on the films, and he has mesmerized us with his performances, with his very diverse roles that he has tackled, and he's truly shown us what being an actor means and what is the power of acting in the first place. So we are very glad that we have been joined by Jamal Shah Saab, who happens to be also the co-producer of this film. Assalamu alaikum, sir, and thank you so much for coming to our show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. Welcome to World This Morning. It's such a pleasure having you here. I have wanted to meet you always. I've heard so much about you, watched you, and absolute pleasure having you here today.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you.
Right. So joining Jamal Shah Saab, we also have Miss Rabiia Amin Saiba. She happens to be the artist. She is the cast member. She also is a line producer and I think wonderful personality again to grace our set and make our energy so high early in the morning. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you so much for coming to our show.
Assalamu alaikum ji. Thank you so very much for inviting me.
How are you doing today?
I'm very good.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. I think the lovely weather has also uplifted our spirits a lot, apart from being a wonderful cast sitting in a studio. And also joining Ms. Rabiia, we have Janita Malik, who also happens to be a cast member and artist, and she is also a footballer herself. Such a huge feather in the cap in such a young age. Assalamu alaikum, Janita. How are you doing?
Assalam. I'm doing all fine.
Wonderful.
Lovely. So yeah, starting off, Sir Shah Saab, you started off with this collaboration with China. I mean, what gave this idea, and especially talking about an unconventional film, because these days what we see is basically about love stories or biopics, but this is something totally different. This is something out of the ordinary, out of the box. So how did you come up with this?
Well, it definitely is out of the ordinary because the film has a very different story and it is very relevant. Besides being fictional at the same time, I would credit the Chinese team for initiating the ideas, because it was because of their interest and insistence on shooting this film in Pakistan, situating it here. I got a call from the Chinese embassy that a certain film unit wants to meet you, they want to shoot their film. We met and we discussed the idea. They gave me the script, I went through it. They also requested me to supervise it, doctor it if there's any issues of cultural relevance, etc., etc. So I found the film to be very interesting. The idea was fantastic, and particularly it dealt with the girl child empowerment and also football for social change or whatever. I myself was a footballer. I come from Quetta, and virtually every second person in Quetta is a football player.
I see.
So that excited me.
Lovely.
And we started the film. They requested us to collaborate with them in terms of providing cast members, helping them to cast actors, providing them the locations, getting them the necessary permissions, etc., etc., helping them in costumes, helping them in art department, etc. So we started our work here, and they came with a crew. They had a big crew, including their cinematographer, camera person, the whole camera team. We also provided them the equipment, camera, light and sound equipment. So we started shooting. Rabiia and so many others from Hunar Kada, they were employed in the team, and they all of them worked together. For us it was very important that Baathia Girl is going to be the first ever co-production between China and Pakistan. For me particularly, it was very important because our moth-eaten industry needed help. China has over 70 cinema screens. I'm telling you about this data, 2018.
Right.
Today it must be 80,000. So which makes it the biggest film market in the world. And ours is almost non-existent because we, with a huge population, have only 150 cinema houses, and most of them are very threatening for ordinary Pakistani because they cannot afford entering those cinema houses. So I thought it would be a good opportunity for us to, find a niche through Baathie Girl in the Chinese film market. So that was my interest and incentive, and Rabiia was practically on the sets helping them. She would tell you more.
Right. So moving on, Miss Rabiia, please tell us about your character. How was the experience shooting it? And certainly it's a co-production between two countries, very friendly countries, and I think there's a huge responsibility in making sure that things roll out smoothly. So please go on.
Well, actually, first of all, being a student of Jamal Shah Saab and myself,
it's a huge responsibility.
It's a huge responsibility. You cannot go with errors at all. But well, on set, when the Chinese team came, we had a lot of interactions with them, and the script writing that had to be translated into English, first of all, for certain football players, into Urdu as well, so that they could understand the script in the very first place. So starting on from there in 2018, when we started our first location, which was Shah Ladita Caves, and what a wonderful place it was.
Yes.
So when the team and the crew and the artists, and actually like our cars, their cars and big vans, they were all loaded with all kinds of stuff and everything. It was such huge fun.
Yes.
But it was almost 45 days, sir.
Yeah.
45 days and different locations.
Okay, wonderful.
It was Shah Ladita Caves. It was there was
Saidpur
Village,
Gilgit-Baltistan,
Right.
Karot, and inside Islamabad,
and inside Islamabad,
Crafts Village,
Wonderful.
and a few other
Faisal Mosque,
airport, Faisal Mosque,
Faisal
Islamabad
Mosque.
airport.
So dealing with the Chinese co-productions with Chinese production team, first of all, there was a language barrier.
Yes.
Definitely.
So the most interesting part was that when they had to say, okay, that because since I was dealing with managements and everything, so
Right.
they used to tell me, okay, tell the cars to stop. So there used to be one sentence. What was it? Khamoshi. So khamoshi was the word which Chinese also learnt.
Oh, wonderful.
Khamoshi also the Chinese learnt, and they were like, okay. So their producer used to stand with me and stop the cars and say, Khamoshi, Khamoshi. It was so much fun, and it was really a good experience.
Actually lovely. Yes, brilliant experience.
A
I
brilliant
must say,
experience.
cross-cultural
Actually, there were
thing.
two different work cultures.
Okay.
Chinese are very, very disciplined.
Yes.
They get up early and they plan things in advance.
Right.
Pakistanis are laid back.
They're not punctual.
They're not very punctual, but
Yes.
they work till very late.
Right.
Actually,
They don't tire. I mean, the Pakistani crew was untiring.
Wonderful.
So that was amazing for the Chinese because they couldn't believe it.
Lovely.
Actually,
lovely.
we used to start at 4 a.m. in the morning, getting all the cast together to reach the destination at around 6 a.m. in the morning. Before, like, there were some shots for sunrise as well. So we had to be there, the crew and the cast.
Before the sunrise.
Before
in order
the sunrise.
To get prepared.
And then wind up at around 8 or 9. It was like almost 12 hours shift.
Right.
And then again in the 4 in the morning, you're like, oh my God.
Actually, I realized how difficult this acting profession is,
That's
and
really true.
anything relevant to acting, be it the behind the camera people
Yeah.
or the editing people. Because I once, Hajra, did a program with my wife. It was a
Right.
2-day shoot.
Right.
And we promised never to judge any actor in our lives.
That's wonderful, because I think we need to understand, because we often, I mean, we see actors in their roles and we started to fantasize about it, but we really don't know that sort of the humanizing layer that goes behind it. So Janita, coming to you, since you are also into football and we are also seeing you playing football in the film, how was your experience in the first place, and do you think it's difficult to learn football if I wanted to start at this age?
It was a wonderful experience. Honestly, I learned too much with the Chinese, and like since I was a little child, so it was like a startup for me. And then like practicing football during the movie and everything, it really encouraged me to play football in the future as well. And I think so. I don't really think so. It's like that difficult if you have a mind.
They had football coach train them
Oh,
I see.
for a few days. Yeah.
There was the
So
training
it was
going on
like-
earlier as well.
So we would always be helped with, and then everything was like fine, and like it was so much fun working with the Chinese as well, like learning new difficult things as well.
Right.
And it was just a beautiful experience that I think so that many of the people don't really get to experience.
Did you learn the language?
some phrases maybe.
Some phrases.
There were some, but it wasn't that difficult, honestly. It
Really?
was fine.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it was fine, but unless you know the meaning.
All right, all right.
That's very true. Now, Jamal Saab, coming to you, since we've seen in the trailer that how feminist narratives are playing out, we've seen that a Pakistani girl is being supported by a Chinese girl, and the football, like you mentioned, is a metaphor there, and it discards the patriarchy there, and it's a sort of a representation and a symbolism for the women empowerment out there, right? So what was the thought process going out behind taking football as a game? I mean, if you want to talk about games, there's so many other games, and I think as Pakistani, we're really crazy about cricket in the first place, right? There's so many emotions invested in cricket, and especially if it's a match with a neighboring country, that's the whole story in the first place.
Well, I think football is the most energetic and the most challenging
Right.
sports. It doesn't let you stay still
Right.
while you are playing. The story of the film unfolds in an area which is a hard area and rural, let's say rural Pashtunkhwa, where there's a Chinese project going on, and there are two villages which are hostile towards each other because of a water resource.
Right.
They have fought many times over that resource, and
Right.
several deaths have happened. So there's this enmity going on. And in this village, there are a few girls who are very energetic. To everybody's surprise, they're interested in football.
Right.
They want to become football players, and there comes a Chinese person who's a former footballer
Right. Right.
as an employee of this company. She had given up football because of an accident, because she breaks her leg.
Okay.
I see.
And when she comes and sees these girls, her,
Energy.
she goes into flashbacks
Oh.
and decides to help them.
Right.
So, despite all the opposition,
Right.
they end up forming a football team in that very, very conservative village where the village elders are, scandalized
Right.
to hear. And this girl who is very young, and the father thinks that she's of age and he wants to get her married. She doesn't want to do that. So somehow football becomes a reason for not only freeing her from that, that scheme,
Shackles of marriage.
shackle or whatever, but also empowering her.
Right.
Because of football, the village, their village becomes, engaged closely, and eventually there's a match
Okay.
with the other village where there's a team of football players, of boys,
I see.
and one or two of them are very good football players, but they're challenged. The girls are challenged because an incident takes place where somebody is taking water from there, and the girl's father, and he's held by them, so they decide to play a match. and eventually the girls are about to win, and instead of goaling, the captain of the team kicks the ball up, and that impresses the other village, and the dispute is resolved through football. So football becomes a reason for empowerment of people, for bringing people together, for social change.
Right, and also talking to you, Rabiia, I mean, you said it was a great experience, but I would love it if you could share any experience that's the most memorable for you or the most fun moment for you.
Oh gosh, I know one. Actually, what happened while we were shooting, so they needed somebody at that very moment because one slot was being added because there was this underage girl marriage issue as well, and water issue as well. But underage girl issue was so much that she was supposed to, NASA was supposed to get married, and this Chinese MS Lu, she said no, she needs to play.
She tries to stop it.
She tries to stop it. So then they had to go to a counselor.
Right.
So I was like, everybody looked at me, and I was like, no, not me, not me. No, you know how to narrate Urdu as well. You know Urdu as well, you know. So just do one slot for us. I was like, oh my God, what to do now? So they said, okay, you have to just sit on the seat and say, okay, bhai, they come to an NGO, and I become a counselor, and they ask for permission to stop the girl marriage.
Okay.
So, and to allow for her to play football and carry on. So that was one scene, and it was quite so funny, and I was like, oh my God, I've never done
that
acting.
scene launched Rabiia as an actor.
Oh, wonderful.
I've never done acting before, but he made me do everything.
That was
we gave them fantastic actors.
Right.
All of them local, mostly Islamabad based and Pindi based, and a few were from Peshawar and Lahore. So it was a good cast, not of very well-known people, but good actors, capable people.
Wonderful. And obviously Jamal Shah Saab is known for promoting the local artist a lot, and since he has been the former DGP NCA, so coming to arts and diplomacy in the first place, and since you're an artist and you understand how much vital it is to have the flourishing arts, and especially in the 21st century when the soft diplomacy, when the soft power is so much influenced by storytelling, by films, by these sort of. So how much do you think this movie, this production of yours fills the gap, I think, which has been made in Pakistan for quite a long time, because our film industry was quite prosperous, but then we see there was a lull, and then now we see that it's going on the track, but certainly the standard is not the same as it used to be back in the olden days, or the golden days, I would say, of the PTV.
Pakistan has great potential for not only cinema, but in every discipline of art, whether it's music or theatre or visual arts, etc., etc. The film industry, however, have been a bit unfortunate that it never got the support from the government which was needed. So at a point, in Zia's time, the cinemas, because of the neglect and hostility towards the cinema or the arts in those days, the cinema houses started getting demolished and turning into markets and malls, etc., etc. Today, we used to have 1,500 cinema houses in till mid-70s.
Oh, wonderful!
Which was a good number. Today we have barely 150, and most of the cinemas out of those 150 are very, very expensive cinemas where ordinary people cannot enter. So with a population like ours, we need at least 3,000 cinema houses, so that the struggle of the revival of film industry in Pakistan is helped. If you don't have enough cinemas, it cannot become feasible. And the tragedy is that Pakistan has great potential. Pakistan is a country which is full of stories.
True.
Especially if you look at the last 4 decades. There are so many stories.
That's true.
And if those stories are told with the innovation, with
Conviction and story.
with relevance,
Yes.
these films can be watched everywhere in the
That's
world.
True. That's true.
So Pakistan can have a very big, very thriving film industry,
That's
which
true.
can support your economy, which can create so many jobs.
Right.
But I've been trying to
yes.
convince the governments.
Yes.
Thank God, in Nawaz Sharif's time, I was able to get the approval for Pakistan's first cultural policy.
Right.
And that cultural policy also entailed
Wonderful.
cinema, which has been have been approved, and PTV has a film department or a film.
Right. Right.
PTV Films is a new entity that is very good.
That's true.
What we need is a genuine, tangible support from the government, not in terms of big studios.
Right.
Maybe they should create a film finance fund
Right.
and offer funding to the best of the best in the country, keeping a policy of 50% contribution.
Right.
That would help them.
Right.
Now, if we are able to make good films, China has a very big market, and China can be a saving grace for us.
True.
Because people in China are very, very pro-Pakistan. So our films can do well there, because a few years back, Amir Khan and Salman Khan's films did huge businesses there.
Wonderful.
In China.
So we can
Why
also
not
do
us?
that. We
Why
can
not?
do that.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
maybe the government should give it a fair chance.
That's very true, and I think
Definitely.
this is the conversation that we would also continue to like to have in after the break, because where does the role of cinema lies in the age of OTTs, Netflix, platforms, and how to revive that dying cinema back, and especially for it's such a big challenge for the film producers, because they invest a lot in the film, and when it's not doing well in the cinemas, it's not doing that much in the commercial terms. Obviously, it's a setback, but how to deal with it, we will have this conversation, and we'll continue to have it after a short break, so don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, everyone, to World This Morning, and today we're having quite a wonderful discussion, because we're talking about films, we're talking about entertainment industry, which has a huge potential in Pakistan, but unfortunately, due to certain circumstances, it has not been able to flourish. But now we are seeing that with passage of time, we are watching some degree of progression in the film industry, in the drama industry. Dramas were already, they were quite better off as compared to the other nations, but film industry now needs to get up on its feet, and definitely the government needs to put more and more investments into the film industry, because obviously, like Jamal Shah was saying, that we have a great potential, we have a great market as far as China is concerned.
That's very true, and to kickstart our conversation and roll it further on, we have been joined by a new guest in the studio who also happens to be a cast member, and obviously we'll ask him how his experience was, but without any further ado, we would like to introduce him. He happens to be Suraj Arman Khan. He's the artist and also the cast member of the film. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you so much for coming to our show.
Assalamu alaikum and ni hao to all my audience.
That's a lovely expression, ni hao. Huh? So how was your experience there? How did you cast it? How did the entire, and tell us about your character.
How did you get in the first place?
Well, the experience is wonderful, and the film is, because is about the collaboration between Pakistan and China.
Yes.
And my experience with the crew is amazing. I learned so much about from the whole crew with the Chinese.
Right.
And the process of casting is very good, because when the film is in the process, and
Yes.
the whole crew was here in Pakistan. That time, actually, I was doing a character of a dog in a play, Panja Shikanja, directed by
That's a
and
wonderful.
that play is directed by Sir Jamal. And actually, initially, I was not willing to do that character,
Okay.
but it was the belief of Sir Jamal on me, and he said, "You must do this. It will be very." It will change your life. And Alhamdulillah, that dog turned into the main character of this film.
Panja Shikanja was a play that was staged at PNCA.
Wonderful.
It was about the political history of Pakistan. It was a farce,
Okay.
hilariously comical theatre production. And the Chinese team, when they were visiting, actually Suraj and others were performing at the stage. So they saw the play, and quite a few cast members were actually cast because of the play.
So it's actually an inspirational story that dog convert into a main lead of that film.
That's
Jamal
a
Shah
wonderful. So
yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah.
interrupting you, but I think I really want our viewers to know that. So if they're interested in watching this film, which by the way is an absolute film and a fabulous film, and I think you need to go out to the cinemas to watch it. So it will be playing in the arena in Beria Phase 4, Islamabad now. It had also received housefuls in PNCA and Islamabad Club, and also it will be broadcasted soon on the Odeon cinemas. So please don't miss out your chance, because you need to support Pakistani film industry there, and especially when the story is so enchanting and made by a powerhouse of our entertainment industry, of our artists. So why not go out? So
And the
please-
feeling is totally different when you
That's
go
true.
out and watch a film in the
That's true.
cinema. I mean,
That's
it's
true.
not
It's
worth it watching it at home.
outing at a different level, right?
Yes.
And especially in Pakistan, we don't have that much avenues of outing and entertainment. So I think cinemas is one of the best avenue to utilize that. So, Fahim.
Yeah, so Jamal Shah Sahab, as we were talking about the drama industry, the film industry, we know that that is sort of incomplete without music. In the drama industry, we see the OSTs. In the films, we see the songs in between. And when we look at your profile, we also see the term singer. And as we know that from some people, from some sources, that you happen to be
Yes.
quite a good singer, we would love it if you could sing something for us during our program.
That would be a bit difficult, but yeah, dramas and films cannot be without music. And Baat Ye Gal also had contribution by us. The Chinese composer was also here. We worked with him to produce a few scores for the film in order to give it a local touch also. There were some Chinese iconic tunes which were used there. We used the same tunes, but we played those tunes with rabab
Oh, wonderful.
to give it a local flavor. So that was a good experience, and I've been composing VSTs for all my productions, although I've sung only one, which was for my film called Revenge of the Worthless. That was Pashto. If you want me to sing a Pashto song,
Sure,
then I
go
can-
ahead.
Music has no language.
Well, this is perhaps the one of the most beautiful lyrics written about the situation, during the past 4 decades by Baidullah Darwish Durrani, and it goes like this. ما خپل تور کړه د ورور په زړه کې ما ته خدایه چې دشمن راغی زه په دوه لاسه سم پاته خدایه ما خپل تور کړه چې زه وم درخته دوی لمبې د اور راوبللې چې زه یې راسوم دوی حال ورکړو و هوا ته خدایه It says, I broke my sword into my brother's heart. When the enemy came, I had nothing in my hands. And then it goes on by saying that when I was a green shadowy tree, they called upon the flames. And when I was burned to when I was burned down, they invited the winds to blow away my ashes.
Yes, yes.
It's wonderful, and I love the bass of your voice and the vibrato in your voice. Totally wonderful.
That's
really.
very true. So now, Ms. Rabiia, coming to you. So let's talk about the role of Hunar Kada, because obviously Hunar Kada is also one institution that has been promoting the arts, and we've seen in Pakistan that we have this huge gap where often across the world it is often said that artists are neglected. And I think the same can be said about the Pakistan. So how does the Hunar Kada bridges that gap in the first place?
Actually, Hunar Kada has different avenues. One is film department, from which we produce many other films as well, and Batai Girl also, which is a recent production. But other than that, we have drawing classes, we have painting classes, we have sculpture classes, we have summer camps for children, and it's a very good avenue for, I think people are coming over and getting enrolled as well, but it is since being Sir being there himself as well, with director Jamal Shah over there as well, the music classes are also being there, and plus jamming sessions. First of all, we used to have every Saturday a music jam session, where Sir Jamal used to, be the host.
The jamming sessions were open to everybody.
Were open to
everybody. The idea was to turn people into friends of music.
Yeah.
So everybody was welcome to sing, whether the person was a bathroom singer or a kitchen singer or whatever, just to dispel the fear, of music.
And one thing,
because there's so much hostility towards music in our, not in our society, in some circles.
That's true.
Which prevents music to grow.
That's true. Sure, sure.
And one thing about Shah Sahib is that he is always very friendly with every age group.
Right.
He's not like, one of those people that who would hold back his aura or, and he would not pass on his skills to anyone. He would love to teach. He basically is a teacher. So I think most of the people who are coming up in today's society, I'm learning from him. I am actually learning from him even till now.
No, I can't be presumptuous to say that I'm a teacher, because I believe that teaching is virtually impossible. There has to be a learner in order to, the process.
To be a learner. That's such a wonderful thing that you just said. I absolutely agree with that. Now, sir, since we're talking about the film, there must have been bottlenecks. There must have been many hurdles when we say that you were working for the film.
Certainly.
So, could you highlight those as well?
Well, mostly the hurdles were in getting permissions.
Right.
For instance, the airport, shooting at the airport was very, very difficult. But eventually we got the permission, and a few other places which were not possible. Other than that, people are generally very, very supportive. I mean, I'm really amazed at the support that we get wherever we go to shoot the film. So, I mean, the bottlenecks are very inferior, nothing in
And also, Jamal Shah Saab, since you are a filmmaker, you are a producer, and you have lots of expertise in that area. So let's talk about the cost and the time that is spent on producing a film, right? And then the sort of reaction that it receives from the audiences. So how do you think, I mean, for a layman or layperson like me, or for audiences out there, is it important to give lots of time to your film, or it can be completed in a more compact time in the first place? So how
like
does
you mentioned, this film was completed in 45
filmmaking
days.
is a costly,
enterprise, yeah.
enterprise. You have to, every day requires X amount of funds. So if you increase the days, that means you'll be increasing the budget. I had made my film Revenge of the Worthless in 40 days, and that was a big film compared to even Bhartiya Girl. That was a big film, but we managed the cost because I was the producer, I was the director, I was the writer, and I was also the actor. Had I hired a director or an actor in my place, I would be paying them a lot. So we cut costs through doing things you know, ourselves. Bhartiya Girl was a relatively, you know, larger film because it has a better budget, but still by the standard of Chinese cinema, it was a small film.
Right.
And it got completed within the, you know, planned time, maybe a few days earlier. So that was very good for them, and they had tremendous support from us.
Right.
It would have been impossible for them had they tried to do this film themselves.
Right.
In Pakistan.
And sir, is this film playing in the cinemas of China?
They'll be releasing the film soon.
Right.
As I said earlier, that there were two, maybe did I mention that there were two festivals where the film was shown, Silk Road Film Festival.
Wonderful.
And another Crouching Tiger and what's the name? I forget the name. Two very, very important festivals where the film was featured.
Wonderful.
And it was very, you know, it got
well
noticed beautifully. So they'll be releasing it. We have already released it. We'll be showing the film today in Arena, Bahria, and on Sunday the film will be shown in Odeon Cinema, and other cinemas are also planning our shows in Islamabad and Rawalpindi, and then Lahore, Karachi, and other places. We are planning to do our next film with China.
Right.
That film is called Cut.
Okay.
Cut is a terminology used in the production. You say action, and then you say cut.
That's true.
So cut is again a symbolic name for our industry, which is no more. So the film is about the revival of a certain studio in Lahore, and somehow the Chinese experts also join us and we make a film together.
Right. So Rabiia, since you have been managing, I mean, crews on the sets, and this film has a diversity of the cast. I was saying there were lots of people of every age, younger people, that there were elder people, and we often hear that there might create some friction between the people. So how was the diversity of the crew there, and do you find that it's difficult to manage so many people, or is there fun working in such a diverse sets of people?
Well, there were incidents,
yes,
of course, initially. Because of language barrier, but then I learned ting ting and okay and no, and then the most interesting incident which I wanted to share was that we were up high in Shah Aladita Caves. And there was a scene in which there was a bomb blast.
Okay.
All right. So, I was managing that, and I told the girls to come up, dress up, because we were there at, the scene was supposed to be shot at 5 in the morning or something like that. And the girls came up very prepared, and they were wearing white shirts, and said, no. Dirty. And then I said, oh my God, how to make it dirty now? So I put all the clothes back into the sand and everything, and I made them so dirty that they looked like that they came out of a bomb blast.
Lovely. Well, I must thank all of you. Suraj Arman Khan, thank you very much for being here today with us. Rabiia Amin, thank you so much for taking our time and being here. And Jamal Shah Saab, of course, thank you very much. But before I say goodbye, I mean, I'm a Pathan. I did understand you the song that you sang, but many of the people in my ear, they're saying that we want to hear something in Urdu as well, and so that we can have a beautiful closing of our program.
True.
Something in Urdu.
Okay.
Urdu mein kya gaun main? I don't know.
I think you can synchronize it with, since it's 14th of August coming. So maybe, we would
patriotic
like to.
would do.
आजा आजा दिल बीमार हूँ मैं, आजा आजा दिल बीमार हूँ मैं, चश्म वीरा का इंतजार हूँ मैं आजा आजा राजा राजा पजड़ बीमार यमा दौरान उस्तरगु इंतजार यमा राजा राजा आजा आजा दिल बीमार हूँ मैं. I sang this song in 1977.
Oh, wonderful.
Amazing.
Quetta TV.
That's very
Amazing.
true.
Amazing.
Thank
Well, thank you very much,
Thank
all
you
of
so
you.
much.
Jazakallah for taking our time, and I hope all of you have a wonderful day ahead. Have a wonderful day and good morning.